not worth the money. Can't run a half-court offense. One of the worst free agency signings of the past offseason. Not a true NBA star. These are all things said about this Chicago Bulls core coming to the season, and while I think we all expected them to take a jump and be a playoff team, I don't think any of us expected them to be this good this early. From Demar Derozan being an early MVP candidate to Lonzo Ball being one of the best shooters and defenders in this league, to Zach Lavine finally taking that step defensively to become a true star in the NBA, and Alex Caruso being a damn menace and an amazing six-man, this team has taken leaps and bounds this season so far that none of us expected, and we can expect them to get not only better as the season go along, but actually be a true challenge when come playoff time and could probably beat anybody they go up against. So with that being said, let's talk about how the Chicago Bulls have been proving everybody wrong this season and just where they may end up by the end of the year. But before we get started, don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you're notified the next time I post. I feel like this year is going to be a great year for this channel, and I'd love to have you guys along for the journey. Now, coming this season, I think we all expected the Chicago Bulls to finally turn that corner and become a playoff team again. But I think there's two factions of people that had questions about how good the Chicago Bulls team is. One faction was very high in this team and was already crowning them as championship contenders. And then the other faction was very low on this team, was questioning whether or not this team's defense can be any serviceable at all with defensive liabilities in the past, like Zach Lavine, Demar Derozan, and Nikola Vucevic. And just how well Zach Lavine and Demar Derozan can play together with conflicting play styles. And so far in the season, the Chicago Bulls has answered a majority of these questions, and they've proven probably the faction that was pretty high on them right so far. Now, I'm not here to say that they're legit champion contenders already. I'm not one of those people, but I can definitely say that they're a lot better than what people expected. And so far, I can definitely see them being a second round team, probably can make the conference finals depending on the matchups that they go up against in the playoffs. So let's talk about it for real. The first thing I'd like to talk about is this team's defense. And coming this year, I think that was the biggest red flag for this team, and the biggest questions were how well and how good can they be on that end. Because with Zach Lavine, DeMar DeRozan, and Nikola Vucevic never being plus defenders in their career, can you really expect Lonzo Ball and Patrick Williams to hold up the defensive responsibilities in that starting lineup? But so far this season, not only has Zach Lavine been a plus defender, DeMar DeRozan has actually put an effort on that end. Nikola Vucevic has been out of the lineup, but even when he was in, he was also a pretty plus defender. But Lonzo Ball has been absolutely insane on that end. Now you add in Nikola Vucevic being out for a considerable amount of time, Patrick Williams going down, which was another hit to their defense, but Alex Caruso coming in and being an absolute menace. This team on the perimeter is hell for any team to go up against. I mean, look at this. Look at this. This man's a freaking menace. And I think this is where you find the value of having a defensive-minded coach like Billy Donovan on this team, because even though his offensive scheme has been pretty iffy throughout his career so far in the NBA, on defense, you can never question if his teams are good or not. And having that mindset that pushes that in Zach Lavine and DeMar DeRozan, and then having somebody like Alex Caruso and Zach Lavine that brings that energy on the defensive end that makes you not want to be the weakest link and finish off possessions down there, has really proven fruitful for this team so far. And also to add to the fact that Patrick Williams was supposed to be their #1 wing defender this year, and so far with him going down, people thought this defense would take a hit, me being one of those people. But so far this season, Zach Lavine and Alex Caruso has somehow proven that they can guard 1 through 4. How is he locking up? Julius Randle has like 40 pounds on him. And right now you can see all that effort on the defensive end being very fruitful, as their top 10 in defensive rating, top 10 in opponents' fast break points, top 10 in opponents' points per game, top 10 in steals, etc., etc. Overall, what we thought was a defensive liability for this team has turned into defensive strength. And now we can see how well not only has they played on defense, but how well it's powered up their offense, which we'll talk about next. Now, I don't think there are too many questions about how well can the Blue Bulls offense play considering the personnel they have on that end. I think the main questions were how can Zach Lavine and DeMar DeRozan play together on that end, since they have pretty conflicting play styles and they both are very ball dominant. But those questions are answered very, very fast. And the answers being Zach Lavine would become a lot more off ball, while DeMar DeRozan with his very good playmaking ability, at least better than Zach's, would handle bulk of the ball handling abilities. And Lonzo Ball, who can still be a true point guard for this team, has just taken a step back and let Demar do what he does best and be a very good spot-up shooter for this team. And while Nikola Vucevic has been out for a majority of this season so far, and while he was playing, his offense still wasn't doing too well, but that really hasn't hindered this team that much. And once he does get his shooting touch back, you can see this team's offense become even better so far this season. And right now, Zach Lavine and Demar Derozan has proven to be some of the best scoring duos in the league right now, with them, I think, being the highest scoring duo in the NBA right now, and DeMar DeRozan leading the league in fourth quarter points. Overall, this team's offense has been what we expected to be and better, with Lonzo Ball becoming... We saw how good of a shooter he was becoming in New Orleans, but now he's definitely become one of the best shooters in the NBA. He's doing it off the dribble, off the step backs we saw in college. All those shots you saw him take in college, from the step back against Oregon and the confidence he had in college, you can finally see that swagger back in his game now. And the question of if he can handle and run a half-court offense was answered very quickly, since in the pick and roll, he's been amazing with Vooch. When Vooch is able to get stuff going, is largely because of Lonzo being the facilitator in the pick and roll so far this season. Well, so far this season, I think you can say this team's offense has been, I guess, a little bit underwhelming considering the personnel they have, but they've been able to get the job done, as they're pretty much middle of the pack in almost every single offensive stat, including their pace they play at. So far, their defense has really taken up a bulk of what's been their MO so far this season. And their offense has slowly come along, which is how you'd want it to go. Early in the season, you want your defense to be the main thing that's already great, and your offense to come along throughout the year. And so far, they've been able to get that done. And once this team is fully healthy again, you can expect their offense to actually be around top 10 in the league. That's where I expect it to be, at least. And just so far, this team is amazing. It's been way past my own expectations, and I projected them to be probably a first-round exit or a second-round exit earlier in the year. And right now, I can say I expect them to be a second round to a conference finals team right now. Do I think they're championship contenders yet? No. But do I see them as one of the best teams in the league? Definitely. But that's the video, guys. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Do you think the Chicago Bulls team is a championship contenders? Did they blow past expectations at the beginning of the season? Were you one of the guys that were already really high on them already? Let me know in the comment section below. Follow my Twitch and join my Discord. I'd love to have you guys there. We'll be streaming soon. I'd love to have you there. Do some one take goes. Get your hot takes so far this season. Just have conversations. I love to interact with you guys. That's why I do so many community posts. With that being said, this FLB. That's my time, and I'm out.